Like, bitch, run. Welcome to Ranger Reviews, a web series where we look at episodes of the TV show Power Rangers and then discuss them. Today we're exploring the 10th episode of the show Power Rangers in Space, as well as the 260th episode overall titled The Wasp with a Heart. We begin this episode in the forest somewhere, and there's a bee monster smelling flowers. This is seriously just Grumblebee from season 1 of Mighty Morphin. He is dancing and is so excited to see flowers. Then Quantrons and some other bee monsters show up, finding him. The monster is pissed as the bee shakes his ass. The new Grumblebee is actually named Waspspeakable, and this is his brother Sting King. Sting yells at his little brother, showing him what a real monster should do. He then makes him stand up and tells him to blow things up, which he eventually does after protest. Sting King wants him to do that to the Power Rangers and he'll be in the history books, and Waspspeakable agrees. Okay. Through binoculars, Phenomenus sees a wasp nest and he calls it an alien pod. Bulk is confused why it would be in the tree right there, and Skull sees it, knowing immediately what it is. Phenomenus disagrees with it being a beehive because he's the worst character in this show now. They get the hive down, and of course, bees come out, making them go running and screaming and whatever. I mean, there's a lot of setup here about Phenomenus hearing something in the actual beehive, but you get the picture. They run behind a tree, which is like dumb, and Phenomenus is laughing. Then Waspspeakable comes up, scaring them away once again. He then fires after them, chasing them. On the megaship, Cassie is running diagnostics and whatnot, and Alpha finds a disturbance in the forest. They pull it up to see Bulk and gang running, and Cassie will go check it out, just in case. She flies in Morph, seeing Bulk and them getting into their van. They're trying to get away from Waspspeakable, who fires at them. Bulk and Skull and Phenomenus then hide to the other side of the van, and Waspspeakable sees their feet to just go around and find only their pants and shoes standing up stiff. He then finds them walking away without pants, and Cassie comes in and she looks away because they're in their underwear. She talks crap with Waspspeakable, and then she gets tossed down fighting the big bee monster. She takes out her satellite stunner, hitting him back. He asks her what's the big idea, and he flies toward her, hitting her back onto the ground. He has stolen her satellite stunner, but he can't bring himself to fire it at her. Cassie immediately notes that he's a monster with a heart, but he tries to prove that he doesn't have a heart, but he still can't do it. Cassie says it's good to be this way, but then the other Rangers come in, knocking him back onto the ground. She stops them from firing at him, explaining how he just stopped himself from killing her. Waspspeakable is then pretty embarrassed, and he leaves. Cassie then says that she thinks she hurt his feelings. Outside, Waspspeakable is watching people from behind a bush, and he's trying to prove that he doesn't have a heart. He then imagines how he's going to attack this one guy in the crowd of people and what he's going to do. Then he begins to do so, but the guy is actually much older, which makes him feel bad, so he starts cleaning up all the food that the old man drops. The old man runs away and Waspspeakable starts crying because he needs to be evil, but how is he going to be that way? Cassie is then at a children's birthday party because of fucking course, and Waspspeakable is watching nearby, and he's stoked to actually see a birthday party. He says that he has a heart after all, but Ecliptor has arrived, yelling at him to attack the Rangers. And Waspspeakable explains that he's actually been studying the Pink Ranger, and he's planning an attack. But Ecliptor sends him into war no matter what. They then start firing at the birthday party, hitting people down into the crowd, including Cassie. She starts helping people get to safety as she's fighting off some of the Quantrons, and some dumb girl is crying about, "My balloons!" in the middle of this, which gets set free by the Quantrons. Like, bitch, run. Waspspeakable then feels bad for having the girl's balloons fly away. Cassie gets those two away to safety, and she's really fighting hard against these Quantrons, but she's starting to get tossed around a bit, getting held. Ecliptor gives Waspspeakable the honor of killing her, and Waspspeakable eventually agrees after a lot of pressure, but before he goes to fire, he remembers how she said that he had a heart. He shakes it off, firing, but actually he just hits the Quantrons away. He says he missed, and he gets hit down by Ecliptor. Then Ecliptor goes to kill Cassie, but Sting King and Astronema show up, telling him to stop? Why? Sting King fires at Cassie, but Waspspeakable jumps in front of her, taking all of his attacks as he launches forward, taking Sting King down for a bit. Cassie gets free, helping Waspspeakable on the ground, and she is pissed, staring at Astronema. Now, finally, the other Rangers show up in suit, helping Cassie. She says that Waspspeakable saved her, and she gets pissed. Let's rock it! Sting King is going forward, so Cassie sends Waspspeakable away, so Ecliptor and Astronema just teleport away. Okay? Cassie calls out the Galaxy Gliders and the Rangers get on, chasing after Sting King into space. Then Sting King starts firing lasers from freaking space and the Rangers are getting hit with their blaster on their Galaxy Gliders. Cassie uses her satellite center to pinpoint the location of Sting King, so they use their weapons with their Astro Blasters to just hit him back down to Earth, and he lands in a forest. He then fires giant bees at them in the forest, and they're messing them up. This feels like it's kind of on par with that whole Diva Drones thing from Turbo. Carlos somehow stops all the bees, so the Rangers just keep hitting the monster over and over again, blowing Sting King up. Astronema is pissed because they had 2 monsters and the Rangers are still alive. She fires the saddle lasers, making him giant. The Rangers call out their Astro Megazord, which flies in, kicking Sting King in the face. Okay, that was kind of funny. They toss Sting King around and he fires lasers at them, but it doesn't mean anything because they somehow make him turn into a ball of energy that explodes. Seriously, what? Astronema then says to Elgar that they're not allowed any more insects, and apparently it's also an addition to French painters on the list now. Also, the Quantrons are scrambling and Astronema has a big plan for next time. Cassie and the others find Waspspeakable and Cassie demorphs. He's okay and she explains that he's not a failure because he has a heart. He says that would be fine if he were human, but he's not, so it's not really okay. Then he sees the little girl coming back to her messed up birthday party, and Waspspeakable does this like gross crying thing before he turns into a ball of energy, leaving. The others power down, watching. Ashley asks if he's going to be good or evil, but then they see the balloons are actually being brought back down to Earth again, and this little bitch gets them very happy. Cassie says he'll probably be good forever, and she runs over to the mom and the kid, smiling. The end. Man, this episode's weird because it's like almost all American footage because, well, one of the main monsters wasn't even in the Sentai footage. It's definitely different, and I have to say I don't mind it at all. The entire thing is a good concept for an episode, although predictable, and the fights were good, and it was kind of nice to see Cassie on her own for the monster. It's one of those nice times where Cassie didn't fall in love with some inanimate object. I mean, I guess this is really all that we could have asked for. I mean, seriously, they could have had Cassie be attracted to a bee and then there's like another bee movie in the world. We don't need another. Next time, the story remembers that it has things that it needs to do. But until then, may the power protect you.